Today, in the Yangguang Pass, which is located at the end of the Hexi corridor, stands a statue of Wang Wei, a great Tang Dynasty poet. It was built to commemorate the immortal lines, "I offer you another cup of wine, as you will find no friends when you leave the pass." After leaving the pass and crossing the Star Gorge, you will see the vast Gobi Desert extending far to the west and into Xinjiang, or what the ancient Chinese referred to as the Western regions. As early as in the Western Han Dynasty, our ancestors used the term Western regions for the vast area from the Yunmenguan Pass in the west to the Pamir's Highland or Congling in the east, and from the Balkhash Lake in the north to the Kunlun Mountains in the south. During the Han Dynasty, this region was governed by the Western Regions Supervision Office. After the Qing government reunified the Western regions and established the Yili General Office to govern it as a province, Xinjiang acquired its current name, which in Chinese connotes a native land regained. In fact, the path connecting the Central Plains and Western regions has been used ever since the ancient times. For thousands of years, countless nomads, merchants, envoys, monks, and adventurers traveled along this path across the desert, which later became the world-famous Silk Road. The Central Plains and Xinjiang are closely connected by the Silk Road. The road leading west is full of great hardships, but people have never stopped exploring the beauty of this mysterious land. More than 1,600 years ago, an eminent monk from the Eastern Jin dynasty described his perceptions of Lowland, an ancient kingdom in Xinjiang, in his record of the Buddhist countries. There were no birds flying in the sky and no animals moving on the land. The only thing in sight was the dried bones of the dead. It was terrifying. In the year 1996, a young man named Yu Chunshun followed his dream to explore the Silk Road and tried to cross the dried Lop Nur on foot alone in the summer. But unfortunately, he failed to get out of the Sea of Death alive. The desert landscape is typical of Xinjiang. The contrast between life and death is made conspicuous by the desert. Ever since ancient times, people who travel in Xinjiang have shared the same visual and spiritual shock aroused by the desolate landscape. The right half of the Chinese character Jiang depicts the geographical features of Xinjiang, or two basins between three mountain ranges from north to south, referring to the Junggar Basin and the Tarim Basin lying between three mountain ranges running east and west, which are the Altai Mountains, the Tianshan Mountains, and the Kunlun Mountains.
它主要的特点就是这个区域呢比较干旱，整个是一个干旱区。南疆呢比北疆更干旱，南疆呢就是盆地里面大概的降雨量都在100毫米以下，年均降雨量，北疆呢都在200毫米以下。
Due to the continuous effects of cold and wet airflows, the Junggar Basin is covered by grasslands with all kinds of flowers and countless lakes, as well as forests with towering pines. The richness and diversity of Xinjiang's natural landscape is rarely seen elsewhere in the world. If you cross the Gurban Tungut Desert in the middle of the Junggar Basin heading north, you will come across a vast blue lake called Ulumgur Lake. Keep traveling north and you will reach the Altai Mountains, which are regarded as the ancestral homeland of ancient nomads. The meandering Altai Mountains are like a natural history textbook, revealing the pure form of the vast Eurasia steppe. The Irtysh River is China's only river that flows into the Arctic Ocean. Traveling along its ancient river course all the way north, you will come across the Road of Grassland connecting Europe and Asia. The Kanas region is located in the northwestern end of China's territory and is like a beautiful garden in the vast grassland. Kanas used to be a pasture of the Xiongnu, an ancient Chinese minority. The taiga forest, which extends into Siberia, is also here. The multicolored beach on the bank of the Burqin River looks like a giant palette. The beach and the Urho Devil Town in Karamay are considered to be the most beautiful Yardang landforms. In the Mongolian language, the word Kanas means beautiful and mysterious. On the shores of the Kanas Lake, the deepest lake in China, live the Tuvas, a people as mysterious as the lake itself. The Yili River flows the depths of the Tianshan Mountains westward into the warm and wet air from the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean. The high-rising Tianshan Mountains block sandstorms from the Taklamakan Desert and help make the Yili Valley a moist and rich land. The land of Yili nurtures beautiful highland grasslands like Bayin Buluka and Kunas, as well as Sairam Lake, which is known as the last teardrop of the Atlantic Ocean. People often compare Yili to the rich land south of the Yangtze River. Surrounded by the Tianshan Mountains, Pamir's Highland, Kunlun Mountains, and Altai Mountains, the vast Tarim Basin in southern Xinjiang is the driest desert in China. Flowing dunes, vast stretches of sand, and weathered Yardang landforms, together with oases, rivers, poplars, and tamarisk trees, have all made the Tarim Basin a great scenic spot. When dusk falls, the desert becomes soft and quiet, though it may be the cruelest landscape in the world, the so-called Sea of Death, and is one of the driest areas in the world with uninterrupted sandstorms. In fact, the word Taklamakan also has a more profound meaning, the ancient home. In some spots around and inside the Taklamakan Desert, numerous historic sites have been excavated, each representing an ancient city or a once prosperous oasis. The underground cultural treasures hidden in the desert are still astonishing the world. To reveal the secrets of Taklamakan as an ancient home, we must start by breaking nature's code. The high mountain ranges that ring the Tarim Basin are home to China's largest glaciers and most extensive glacier fields. Xinjiang is therefore known as the Kingdom of Glaciers and is home to a huge amount of fresh water resources.
就是新疆的那个整个格局呢，概括起来就是三山加两盆，然后这个山地呢是这个干旱区的湿岛，这个在山地里头，它因为降雨高，所以汇集了大量的，就是形成很多的河流，这些河流出山口以后，就孕育着很多的绿洲，人们呢主要生活在绿洲里头。
The aerial remote sensing map of the Tianshan Mountains shows geological structures that allow glacial water to reach oases through alluvial fans. The water from the glaciers is transported to lower lands with the help of dense networks of waterways in the mountains. In the Kuka Valley, located at the foot of the Tianshan Mountains, there is a short passage only 5 kilometers long but crucial for the transportation of water. Here, the soil conditions allow for the formation of alluvial fans that direct water into the Tarim Basin and give rise to the region's oases. The most amazing part of the basin is the Tarim River. As it flows, it gathers soil in which oasis trees can grow and forms a giant underground reservoir. Compared with the Sahara Desert, Taklamakan is arid and yet still has enough water for the oases. The water and the fine soil in the Xinjiang deserts contribute to the rich life of the oases. The answer to the puzzle of the disappearance of ancient cities can be found underground in the Taklamakan Desert. Because it is a flowing desert, significant diversions of the Tarim River throughout history have made the original oases disappear, and the downstream lakes dry up as what has happened with the Lop Nur. Ancient homes disappeared mysteriously, but water from the glaciers keeps flowing. New oases have emerged one after another around the Tarim Basin. They are the cities and towns located in southern Xinjiang today. They are like gifts from the oases, and they prosper because of the glaciers. When traveling in Xinjiang and enjoying the unique natural landscape, an old song which has been popular for 60 years comes into our minds.